हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे चैनल इग्नो सेंटर पर। तो दोस्तों, आज का जो सॉल्व असाइनमेंट है वो आपका MEG 11 अमेरिकन नोवेल का रहेगा। और ये जो सॉल्व असाइनमेंट का क्वेश्चन है इग्नो की तरफ से दिया गया है। और देख लिए क्वेश्चंस क्या क्या है आज के टॉपिक में। तो दोस्तों, आज का जो MEG 011 अमेरिकन नोवेल है उस पर इग्नो ने क्या क्या क्वेश्चन दिया है वो आज देखते हैं। तो आपका क्वेश्चन से डिस्कस द नैरेटिव टेक्निक of the catcher in the rye, or number 2, discuss the Great Gatsby as a novel of social criticism. Number 3, discuss the distinctive features of the American novel. Number 4, comment on the notion of mothering in the color purple. Number 5, attempt a critical analysis of the light in August. तो दोस्तों, ये आपका क्वेश्चन है, जो 5 क्वेश्चन है और इसका सॉल्व असाइनमेंट हम आपको प्रोवाइड कराने जा रहे हैं। तो दोस्तों, ये आपका सॉल्व असाइनमेंट है, इग्नू सॉल्व असाइनमेंट 2020-21 MEG 011 अमेरिकन नोवेल। और जो हमने आपको क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 बताया था वो आप क्वेश्चन मैच करके देख सकते हैं। वही क्वेश्चन से और वही आंसर रहेगा हमारे ये वीडियो में। तो दोस्तों, आपको हमारे चैनल के द्वारा सटीक एक असाइनमेंट मिल जाता है। और जिनको असाइनमेंट परचेस करना है वो हमारे वीडियो में जाकर कमेंट कर सकते हैं। और कमेंट से नहीं हुआ तो हमारे एक वीडियो में हमने अपना नंबर डिस्प्ले किया हुआ है, वो वीडियो को आप देख सकते हैं और वहाँ से आप हमें कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। तो दोस्तों, और जिनको परचेस नहीं करना है वो तो यूट्यूब से देख सकते हैं, लाइन बाय लाइन आप देख लीजिएगा। और अगर हेल्पफुल लगा तो वहाँ से आप कमेंट कर सकते हैं कि अगर आपको और ऐसे वीडियो चाहिए तो हम आपको और वीडियो प्रोवाइड करा दें। तो दोस्तों, बढ़ते हैं हमारे फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ। डिस्कस द नैरेटिव टेक्निक ऑफ द कैचर्स इन द रायर, एंड द आंसर फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन इज द कैचर इज द रायर रिसीव इन द कैचर इन द रायर रिसीव great praise and success as a book of the month club section, but it was also thought by many readers as a potential dangerous, even seditious book. The character of Holder Caulfield was certainly not the kind of model any parents would want for their children. Fortunately, there cannot be many of him yet. T.M. Longstreth wrote with apprehension in the Christian Science Monitor, but one fear that a book like this give wide circulation may multiply his kind, as to easily happen when immediately the perversion are recounted by a writer of talent whose work is contenced in the name of art or good intention. This comment is obviously based on a misreading of the novel. Salinger is in fact making a strong statement against immorality and perversion. A review in Catholic World, objecting to its language, led to its being banned in bookshop, libraries and schools across the United States. Not only do some of these events sketches probably, but Holder's character as iconoclast, a kind of latter-day Tom Stewart or Huck Finn, is made monotonous and only by the forbiddingly excessive use of amateur swearing and crucial language. Reviewers criticize and General reader just overlooked the essentially moral and religious theme of the book to announce sucked at its language. For some, the language was not itself so disturbing, but the Salgar is putting the word in the mouth of 16 years old boy Virgilia Peterson made just a comment about the book in the New York Heart Tribune book review. Recent wall novel have consumed us all the ugly words and images, but from the month of the very young and protective, they sound particularly offensive. There is probably not one passage in the whole book that Holden Caulfield would not have used upon occasion, but when they are piled upon each other, it cumulative monotony the air refused to believe. Mostly decidedly, Saliger's use of language is one of the most distinctive qualities of the Catcher in the Rye, and analysis of the language is necessary to appreciate what he had accomplished artistically in the novel. The language is isolation is rude. The language in isolation is rude, profane, and obscene by the standards of most people, even in 2007, as it was in 1951. But in the language and its relationship to the overall effect of the novel are considered. Another conclusion is inevitable given the point of view from which the novel is told. Edward P.J. Corbett argues and gives the kind of character that figures as the hero. No other language was possible. The integrity of the novel demands such language. It is simply a matter of knowing the Holden language is not at all unusual or shocking to a real life preschool boy. His swearing is inhabitual and unconsciously visualistic, so that it actually contributes to rather than diminish the theme of innocence that dominates the book. Moreover, Holder's desperate bravado to appear older than he is, and his rough language fit in with his vision of the corrupt adult world. Holder's a way of talking it but a device. Schillinger is clearly not interested in mildly depicting the way a boy like Hooden would actually speak, no more than Mark Twain was attempting to be realistic in the literal sense when he invented an item for Huckleberry Finn. Twain novel like Salinger was widely critiqued for its language and even banned because of it. Their books would be unreadable had they merely recorded intact the language of a real life hog and real life wooden. The genuine lies in their mastery of the technique of first person narration, which brought meticulous selection, creates vividly the illusion of life gradually and Surely the narration emerges and stand revealed, stripped to their innermost being, or as Mary MC Cathy notes, the artless dialects is an artful ventriloquial trick of Salinger, like the deliberately holding English of Hemingway waiters, fishermen, and peasants. Anyone who speaks it is a good guy, a friend of the author to be trusted. In this sense, Selig's Selig's genius is certainly due to his ability as a literary voluntarist. He is a writer concerned with message, with emphasis on moral point and suggesting the way to move from despair to hope. Wooden embodies Slinger thought, but the language Slinger chooses to give him is so artfully controlled that the voice seems to come from some other source than the other author. The ventriloquist must always make his audience forget that the figure on his knees is just a wooden dummy, not real, and this is what Slinger succeeds in doing the catcher in the rye, something that does not always happen in his later work. The older language is Salinger artful pretense, it never appear pretended. Donald P. Costello, writing on Salinger usage of language in the novel, indicates the reason. First of all, Salinger knows the authentic teenage speech to establish a basic level of believability that he never departs from in the book. Holder never say anything that he conceivably could not have said. Salinger individualized Hooden by having him use certain repetition in an usually significant manner, like any other teenager of his time and place. Hooden repeats and all, and I really did as well as the famous. If you want to know truth, the repetition have a purpose beyond plain realism. Plain realism. Wooden repeats, I really did to assert that he is not funny. He repeats and all because of his eventually mystic ability to discover the all in the others as he moves towards his final vision. And he repeats, if you want to know the truth, because that is exactly what the book is about. The second point about Slinger language is that Hodder's speech at first looks like a typical schoolboy vulgarity, but a close scrutiny shows that it is much restrained to signify Holder's sensitivity. After all, Holder is much offended by certain use of chorus languages. The word fuck appears 4 times, but it is never uttered by herders. Holders. Holders use godams often, but never the more offensive Jesus Christ or even for seekers except in the repeating the speech of others. The credit of language is more when Huden is reporting what others says and decrease significantly when he directly addresses the reader. The third point is about something that Slinger shares with Sinclair Lewis. His love for slang word and expression, but unlike Lewis' work, Slinger is not strikingly dead in his independence on jargon because the slang words Slinger uses are narrow in choice and are carefully repeated words like lovely, pretty, crumby, terrific, quite old, and stupid. This repetition of in- identical words and expression is different situation is somewhat humorous and also indicate the American characteristic of adapting nouns into adjective or adverb. Holders transform nouns into adverbs simply by adding and we have vomitly looking so offy, peeply and pervertly more distinctive in is Schillinger's ability to use nouns as adverb. She sings it very Dixieland and warehouse and it doesn't sound at all mushy. However, Wooden is certainly not merely illiterate adolescent. He revealed his thinking ability in the way he discourses on two levels at once. He used inward choice that adds humor to the narrative, like a typical kid of his age. Holders thus violate some rules of grammar. He often misuses lie and lay, is uncertain about relative pronoun, and is addicted to use of double negative. But all in all, Huden is extremely conscious of his own speech and critical of the language of others. His character rises, though this consciousness and his eventual self awareness is made possible though his ability to recognize the phony, the untrue in his objection to the overuse of such words as grand prize, traveling, incognito, and little guilt room. Intensely, it is often forgotten that Holder is revealing his character is speaking, not writing. If he were writing his grammatical mistake and would be much less and not consist of so many fragments. The language in the catcher in the rye leads us to a conclusion state memorably by Costello. The language of the catcher in the rye is an authentic rendering of a type of informal. It is cruel and tired, yet often somewhat individual. It is rude and slangy and impresses in imitative yet officially imaginative and affect towards standardization by the strong efforts of school, but authentic and interesting as this language may B. It is remember that it exists as only one part of an artistic achievement. The language is certainly a powerful tool of Salinger artistry and tell us how careful a writer he is. His relatively small output is possible not due to a limited imagination. It is certainly because of his extreme care in choosing the words he is going to use. Selinger's attitudes towards language also suggest a conceptual relationship between him and the philosophies of the School of Languages, analysis led by Ludwig Wittgenstein (1889 to 1951), an Australian who did much of his work at Oxford University. So, friends, till now our first question was ended, and in our next video we discuss question number 2, which was discuss the Great Gatsby as a novel of social criticism, and question number 3 discuss the distinctive features of the American novel. So friends, this was a long video, so I hope you'll attempt your first questions, and soon I'll make question number 2 and 3, and then in part 4 we make question number 4 and 5. As this was a long questions, we have to make it in different parts. Thank you.